one of my students had difficulty in mastering skill. It was a simple technique that is practicing not in surgery, right? Though he could do it at home, his practice evaporated when he tied the knot on the operating table. Now, and when we were struggling to understand why this was happening to him, then he got changed and another student came in with the same problem. This bothers me, as being a leading operating surgeon and assistant plays an important role in my work output and the operating time. When the third student came, I said, enough, I need to sit down and dig out the cause. Then I started observing and finding out the pattern in all the animals, from animals to humans, right? See, when you see a tiger or any other predators going after a prey, right? The predator have a intent of food in their mind, and their entire body moves according to the intent, right? As if the mind and the body act as a unit. When the food, when they is satisfied, and it just remains like a unit, right? But then this particular coherence of mind and the body is missing in us as a human species. Our body do not act according to our intent. I thought they had about then coming to the this basic operating times table scenario, right? In my students, I thought that if this particular coherence of body and mind is missing in us humans, and particularly skilled workers, right? Those who are working for a time-bound work, kind of, right? So, first I thought that all of them has a memory problem. Obviously, when somebody forgets something, then there must be something wrong with their memory, right? But then, when I asked them to read a chapter and presented it to me next day, they were perfect in reading and intelligence. They had a higher IQ than me, though I was decades and decades ahead of them. So the problem was not in their memory or the intellect. They have perfectly normal memory or higher memory in the intellect too. And one day I asked one student, what is memory? He said, memory is what is in our heads. It's a stored information. I answered that to me. Oh, so this is the problem, right? Most students feel and think that reading and studying are skills, right? Now, again, if you see the pattern, why we become like this, why we forget our body, and for it, almost 2 decades, every student trains their mind only, right? Studying, reading, mugging, although we becomes very intelligent mentally, but then our body remains very clumsy. And to make this two coherent as a unit, obviously the student has to fight for his thinking. Whatever comes in his mind, he has to run after prey like a tiger or any other predator. But in this scenario, he has an intent of improving the skill. But then if his body doesn't go with the mind, then obviously the skill lags. This is how the pattern unfolds as you as a student advance in age and training. And to improve this gap between the mind and the body, you need to do the following. You need to change your perspective. Just change the perspective. That one, information is not skill and skill is not information. For example, somebody over medicine, right, who is in medicinal profession, his all the information is based on reading skill that is stored in his mind, but he cannot execute the whole of the information with his hands. The skill doesn't translate into action with the hand, right? And they doesn't need it also, right? On the other hand, all the other fields, technician, surgeons, pathologist, microbiologist, radiologist, who works with their hands day in and day out with the hands, right? So this idea becomes very crucial. And not only that, those who are in at the age of retirement also, I think they don't have this notion that the hand and the body as a unit, right? And not only that, many students have this deception. Reading as a skill, right? Now, this is the practical. You do it by yourself, right? Suppose you read something how to do it. Okay, it will take, the information takes around 2 minutes of explanation. But then when you sit for an hour, right, and just memorize or read whatever you do, and do the following: 1, implement the skill and see the gap. You will feel the drag, right? Or 2, just don't read at all. If the instructor says move right, you move right. Instructor say move left, you move left, and you go on practicing it for one day maybe. Obviously, after 2 days, you will learn the basic movement, and you go on practicing the same thing for another 7 days, and you will be master, right? Master the movement. In scenario 2, where you mimic the instructor's movement, you will have direct realization and experience of the knowledge. On the other hand, the skill-based memory, skull-based memory fades over time, while the bodily memory stays for life. So if you are in a skill-based profession, meaning if you are working in a profession where you had to work with the hand, feet, or you are in a public speaking, or you are in art, writing, chess, sports, right? Modeling and mimicking the instructors are vital. Learn the movement and optimize reflexes, shorten the time, and execute the same skill with the speed, precision, and grace. And to fully understand and experience this mindset, one must abandon the notion that the brain and the body are not separate entities. The brain is the body and the body is the brain. Now you will ask, how come the two are same? Because the entire body is mapped in the brain. This is called cortical homunculus. And there is another homunculus also, that is called sensory homunculus, right? So in cortical homunculus, the entire body is mapped in the brain. And not only that, the entire body is mapped in the brain in top-down approach, top-down way. Meaning the hands and feet stays up in the body, the head remains in the deeper part of the brain. And the head, lips, hand and feet takes the majority of the area, cortical representation area, right? So coming to the basic problem, how you are going to shorten the gap between the idea, the information and the action. For a trainee, it is very crucial to get the difference between the mind and the body in the first place. So what do you think? Is the brain a body or the body a brain? What do you think? Now, as long as you hold a notion that the brain and the body are separate, you will not improve your skill, right? And this bodily information, absorbing information through the body. In a sense, you are forcing the brain to change using the body. So obviously, if you move the body, it is called reflexes, right? So if you move the body, initially you will get very frustrated. It is very slow and sluggishly absorbing 1 minute of movement for 7 days max, right? But then it will stay for life. And the frustration you will get is like a different frustration, because you will feel the drag, right? The movement. To practice a movement is like you will feel the sluggishness of your own bodily movements. On the other hand, the same information the brain will read and remember in a minute, but then it will go on evaporating from the brain, right? So I want to stress this one particular idea, that if you want to improve your skill, movement of the body or implementing the information is one of the most crucial thing to make change in the brain, right? Don't rely on the top-down approach, where you are allowed to sit in the one particular place and somebody comes along and feeds you with information, expecting that the information is going to translate into a skill. That is never going to happen. So don't remain in the deception that reading is going to translate into skill. It is never going to happen again.